I would now like to introduce the president of the Hathout Legacy Foundation. Dr. Ibet Hathout is professor of pediatrics and chief of endocrinology and diabetes at Loma Linda University School of Medicine. She did her medical training at the universities of Kuwait, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Cambridge before coming to the U.S. for postgraduate studies at USC, UCI, and UCLA. She is the proud daughter of Dr. Hassan Hathout, with whom she shared a unique and undying bond. Since my grandfather's death, she has worked tirelessly to ensure that his concept of the mission statement of Islam in the Quran, "We have sent you for nothing but mercy to the worlds," remains alive, and that his ideology of love in God will not be forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, my mother and friend, Dr. Ibet Hathout.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Quran reads, "But unto the righteous God will say, O thou human being that has attained to inner peace, return unto thy sustainer, well-pleased and pleasing. Come together with my other true servants. Enter thou into my heaven." I pondered over these words for the 60 days I lived in my father's bedroom preceding his death. I wondered why that peaceful entry had to burst open out of such a narrow and painful exit, until I sensed his breath getting freed from its restless tide, rising to meet God unencumbered. No one should have been readier than I was for this. Throughout my life, my father spoke to me of death as the ultimate destination of the faithful, healing for the sick and wounded, home for the weary traveler. He would say, "The day everyone mourns a believer is ironically the happiest day in his life, for that is when he shall meet God and enter his paradise." Compared to most in the Muslim community around me, I was lucky. My father had written a clear, advanced directive of how I was to be his health agent should he not be able to speak for himself, and of how he did not wish for any means of prolonging his life given his end-stage heart failure. As a physician-scientist, he was overseeing the process of his death and making sure that his multi-organ failure was proceeding as expected. Sometimes he would get frustrated at living a bit too long given the degree of his kidney failure. And yes, he refused dialysis. He saw it as a means of prolonging death and knew it would never restore his failing heart. He laughed at the idea of a heart transplant. "So many young and fit people deserve this more than I do," he said. Towards the end, he frequently announced, "If I go into a coma, do not disturb me." And when he did, that was another experience for me. He was telling me so much. It was, as he titled his last book, audible silence. While I realize this is only one of many approaches to the end of life, I came out of that journey wishing others whose loved ones were terminally ill had such a clear path for how their loved one wants to exit and step into the afterlife. For our new visitors, I will share the story behind our master title. In audible silence, Hassan Hathout wrote of a French parliamentarian he met in Switzerland. Having been a member of the French resistance, she harbored immense hatred to all Germans. One day, as she rushed out of a conference in anger upon arrival of the German delegate, an American of faith told her, "Do you think you can rebuild Europe without the Germans?" Deprived of food and sleep, she struggled for 3 days. Then, for the first time, sat with a German and reported horror stories from the Gestapo days, which fueled her hatred to their country. After listening to the end, the German lady quietly replied, "My husband was involved in the plot against Hitler. He was arrested and executed. I am left alone to raise our 2 children. I apologize if our response was not early or strong enough." The 2 ladies held hands and prayed. A reconciliation between France and Germany followed and was to change the face of Europe and the world forever. Irene Lohr called her biography Pour l'amour de demain, for the love of tomorrow. As individuals, foundations, and nations, a spiritual anchor is essential for our growth, for our permanence, and for our victorious entry into eternal life. There is often a gap between humanity and happiness, a wall of emptiness, a moral embryo crying to be nourished and yearning for wholeness. It would be painfully difficult for us to face the death of a loved one or of ourselves without developing our own spiritual dimension. Tonight, we shall perpetually navigate new heights into the amazing phenomenon of death, in the hope of achieving an equilibrium that can lead us to the brightest light of all, the light of God, which brought us together today to reflect on unique perspectives on the ethics of the end of life in the voices of people who are more than equipped to share them. Let us together, as we do so, admire the beautiful mosaic of religious threads that lights up this hall. And remember the words of St. Francis. It is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in death that we are born to eternal life. Ladies and gentlemen, in love we met, in love we part, and in love I hope we shall meet again. Thank you.